How's it going, guys? Sean here. Wanted to share with you guys another new knife I got. This is the Bark River Bravo 1, and I actually was able to regrind the knife. It came with what looked like a micro bevel on here, so I didn't want to take any chances. I ground it down. It wasn't very polished. Now you can see it's got a almost mirror polish on each side. Very nice. Very sharp. This is the A2 steel version. It comes in A2, S35VN, and 3V. I got this version because it was the cheapest. But you can see how thick that is and how thin that gets at the edge. Very thin. So this is a lot like a Finnish puukko knife, which, think of a Scandinavian knife, and then they basically heighten the grind up to about here and then zero grind it down. And this is convex, but it's a very shallow convex, very acute. So it's a lot more acute than my felt even, which means technically just this geometry alone should make it a little bit sharper. The steel, I notice, is very toothy. Even with this mirror polished right here, it still feels very toothy. It's a lot like 1095 steel. It has no corrosion resistance, but it's supposedly supposed to be tougher. It's supposed to be a little bit more corrosion resistant than 1095. It's also supposed to have better edge holding. You can also see I've developed a patina right here. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to really use this knife in the wet weather. The cheapest one I could get was the one with the black canvas micarta. It's very smooth. It feels very nice. The handle contours are great. It's got the classic, just American palm swell right here in the middle of the knife. That's what a lot of people seem to like. It fits nicely inside the hand. If you're choking up here, it's got this thumb ramp on here. You know, I really don't like the thumb ramp. It grips your thumb just like a lot of the Spyderco jimping on their knives. It was, I guess, marketed that you could take a ferro rod and it uses that to catch on the ferro rod, which, you know, that's cool. I mostly like using the tip on the knife anyways, but it comes with a sharp spine. That's great. One of my favorite things about this knife, this. Look at that beauty. The sheath on this. Look at the welt on that. Now, I did cut a little bit inside here, but no worries. You can see it actually, when it's new, it's very stiff like this, but it starts to open up for the knife with use. But what a great sheath. Now, a lot of these sheaths, you usually cut this guy. I thought this was kind of annoying trying to get this in. I noticed there was this hook right here, and what you do with that is that keeps that out of the way, so you can draw and close the knife with ease. The tension on this knife is fantastic, and it is also decent without the snap. And again, if I want to draw that, I just hook that out of the way, and now I have the knife. Very nice. Also, the ferro loop fits a half-inch like my fire steel. I know it's not a fashion statement when you go out there, but this is a very attractive sheath. So the knife is very sharp. I love the geometry on this knife right here. And of course it'll carve feathers. I mean, it is incredibly sharp. Very fine feathers. Handle's pretty comfortable. You know, I still like the handle on my bushcrafter a little bit better since my hands are so big. But yeah, this thing carves. Feathers. Very good. really just bites in the wood as well. I mean, that's a pretty thick piece of wood right there. And this guy will just eat it like it's nothing. Now, as far as doing some notching, very sharp. Really don't have much arm hair. Yeah, very toothy. It's not as, the edge itself doesn't really polish as much as the VG10 or even the S30V. I feel like it's a little bit more polished. This feels very toothy here at the end. I'm still getting used to this knife. It's probably going to take a little bit more testing to figure out what works best. But overall, very attractive knife. Stay tuned with me as I test it more. I'm not very familiar with any of the Bark River stuff. It just comes very highly recommended. So I'm testing this out. So stay tuned for more. We'll talk more about knives later.